Salutations, my friends. I am the Mighty Mander, and welcome to this video, which is going to be the this is going to be my my thoughts and my reactions and my response to all the E3 press conferences. I'm going to split this into two videos. I think I'm going to do Bethesda and Ubisoft in this one, and then I'm going to do Sony and Microsoft in the next one, because Bethesda and Ubisoft were okay, but they weren't great, and both Microsoft and Sony were absolutely fantastic. So I'm going to cover those in another video. But yeah, so I've got my notes here, and I'm just going to go through my notes and just sort of talk about all the stuff that they showed off that I have. I don't have EA's. I didn't watch that one because because I forgot about it, and I missed it, and I haven't watched it yet. The only honest alright, well, I might as well cover EA in this one, because the only two things that they really showed that I'm even remotely excited about are Mass Effect Andromeda and Battlefield 1. Mass Effect Andromeda, obviously, because Mass Effect is like one of my favorite franchises, probably one of my favorite games of all time. And if you don't know that by now, then you obviously haven't been watching any of my fucking videos. But, so I'm just very excited for Mass Effect Andromeda. Can't wait for that to come out. I can't wait to do something new in the realm of Mass Effect, because, like, Mass Effect 3 was too up its own ass and too, like, reveling in the success that the series had garnered up to that point. And, yeah, I was really more interested in, like, the lore and, like, the beginning phases of the story. Before I was more interested, put it this way, in that series I was more interested in the questions than the answers. The answers were a little bit unsatisfying to me. So that's a thing. And the other one, Battlefield 1, I mean, I've probably said this before, but like, Battlefield's cool. I like Battlefield. Battlefield 4 is a lot of fun. And then Battlefield 1, it looks like the refreshing change of pace that the modern first-person shooter market needs. Like, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare looks like it's going in the wrong direction, and honestly, I feel so bad for Infinity Ward, because it looks like they're just going to crash and burn with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and I mean, I don't really want that to happen. Obviously, I want the game to be good, but even if it is good, I'm afraid that no one is going to fucking play it, so, like, that's probably going to be a thing. But anyways, Battlefield 1 looks really cool. I mean, it's cool to see an interesting new take on the Battlefield formula, and not just to have the same game, but with slightly better graphics, different maps, and a couple more guns. So, that's going to be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. So that's pretty much EA's press conference out of the way. I don't remember anything else that they had on display there besides sports that I really care about. So that's a thing. But let's get to Bethesda. First thing, Bethesda opened up with a new Quake game, which, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a cool idea. Like, Quake Champions, it's probably gonna be very similar to Overwatch, guys. Let's be perfectly honest here. We're gonna be seeing a lot of Overwatch clones, and I'm not saying it's gonna be a clone, because it is obviously Quake, and Quake has been around for a while. Overwatch is not, but yeah, it looks like a sort of character-centered Quake game, and it's going to be like an arena-based competitive shooter, and I'm down with that. I love the competitive arena-based shooters. I think they're a lot of fun, if not to play, then just to watch. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy Quake Champions, because that's just never been my cup of tea. I've never been a PC gamer, but I will definitely watch it. I'll check it out when it comes out. I'll keep it on my radar. The second thing, probably the biggest announcement of the Bethesda E3 conference, was the Skyrim remaster. And, I mean, a lot of people sort of will be in the camp that, like, you know, Skyrim really didn't need a remaster. It's perfectly fine in the state that it was. But the thing that elevates this to a point where I think it's something that you can actually get excited about is definitely mod support. It's going to have full mod support on consoles, and I think that's definitely a big step. And plus, I didn't get into Skyrim the first time around, and I guess maybe this is an opportunity for me to get into it, because I feel like now, I've been so spoiled by Fallout 4 that I don't think I can go back and actually be impressed by Skyrim. Like, I think it's just going to be like, okay, well, this is sort of like Fallout, but it's with dragons and magic, and I don't care, and it looks like garbage. So, if you love Skyrim, I'm sorry, you go ahead and keep loving Skyrim. I completely understand why you do, I just don't. So, that's a thing. Fallout 4 DLC, yeah, it looks alright. Like, the Fallout 4 DLC is pretty cool, but it's not really, I mean, there's nothing spectacular. I was hoping for a bigger DLC release. It's nothing that we already didn't really know about. I saw murmurs about the Contraptions DLC before E3. There was a couple videos about it a couple days before Bethesda's press conference, and it looks really stupid. It looks like just a bunch of useless shit that no one's really gonna need. Like, I appreciate the more building options, but like, Why would I want to build a rail track for bowling balls? That's not what I want to do in Fallout, you know? I don't know. The next one is, obviously, I'm more interested in the other two. The second one is, you know, the Vault Tech expansion, which is really cool because it lets you not only build your own vault, which was also previously available in a mod, but it also lets you do experiments on your vault dwellers, like Vault Tech did. So that's probably the coolest part of that DLC, and it's probably the thing that will separate it from the pre-existing mod. And the third one is Nuka World, which I think is pretty cool. I'm always down to go to a new location. In a Fallout game, in a DLC, I'm always down to go to a new location and experience some new things. So Nuka World is something I can definitely get behind. The next thing they said that they're bringing Fallout 4 to VR, which is fucking crazy. I never expected them to do anything like that, and I'll talk more about that in my Microsoft video because they talked more about VR there than they did about Bethesda. But yeah, Fallout 4 in VR, I would be down with that if by that point I have a VR headset that I can use, because right now I don't, and I probably won't for the rest of this year. That's why VR hasn't really been on my radar very much. It's just because I don't have the money for another peripheral. I barely have the money for the consoles and the games that I'm getting right now, which I'm also going to talk about when I get to Microsoft's video. The last thing at Bethesda's E3 conference was Dishonored 2. That was the last really big thing. They talked about, like, you know, Elder Scrolls Legends and shit like that, Elder Scrolls Online. I don't give a shit. If I don't give a shit about the main series Elder Scrolls games, there's just no way that I'm gonna give a shit about Elder Scrolls Legends or Elder Scrolls Online. That's just the way it is. And if you do, like, honestly, those games, I could see why anybody would like either of those. The card game fascination, I'm not really sure if I get, but that's just because that's not my kind of game and it never has been. If they make a Mass Effect card game, I'll get behind that. But as of right now, I'm not really interested in Gwent or Elder Scrolls Legends or Hearthstone. I've never been interested in Hearthstone, so that's a thing. The last thing that they talked about at Bethesda's E3 conference was Dishonored 2. Now, I mentioned this briefly in my 2016 game preview. I have not played the first Dishonored, so that actually leads me to say maybe I'll have a little bit of Dishonored gameplay in preparation for Dishonored 2, releasing later this year. So maybe I'll put that on the channel pretty soon. If you see this video and you would like me to do that, please let me know in a comment. But they actually, last year all they had was a cinematic trailer because the game was still in very early stages of development, but this year they actually had gameplay to show. And the gameplay looks really, really solid. I really like, I like the powers that they've got. I like, honestly, using supernatural powers in a game like that, like it makes it very unique. Dishonored has always been a very it's sort of an outlier in the first-person like action game world, where it's like the setting is very unique and the powers are very unique. I don't know why I never got into it because I really love games like that. So I'll probably will get into Dishonored as soon as I can. Maybe I'll try and pick up the definitive edition if it's down in price pretty soon. But yeah, the gameplay looked really, really, really awesome, and I'm glad that they're doing more with the characters. There's a whole new character to play in this one besides just Corvo, and with a whole new set of powers and a whole new set of locales, so that ought to be pretty cool. Alright, well that does it for Bethesda. Now I'm going to move on to Ubisoft, and oh my god, Ubisoft, guys, Ubisoft's conferences are always, there's always at least one cringe moment, and it's usually because of, I mean, I don't want to say it's because of Aisha Tyler. I fucking love Aisha Tyler. She's great. But, I don't know, for some reason she sort of sticks out from the crowd of all the people presenting. I'm glad that Ubisoft actually has a decent presenter and someone who knows how to read shit, like as they said in the Jimquisition said in their impressions of the conference. I'm glad that they have someone who actually knows how to read shit off of a teleprompter without it seeming like she's reading shit off of a teleprompter. So that's gonna be a thing. Not gonna be a thing. That's good. I'm glad that they have Aisha Tyler there. The one thing that I will say is that the one thing I fucking hate about these conferences, for some reason it seems so disingenuous to me when they have the gameplay demos. I understand why they do this, but like, they have that commentary where it's so clearly written down as a fucking script, and then they try and pass it off like it's genuine commentary. No one talks like that when they're playing a game, guys. No one does that. The scripted commentary really, really gets on my nerves. It ruins the entire thing for me. It's just so dumb. I would rather them write dialogue for the actual avatars in the game, rather than make it seem like it's players actually saying that shit as they're playing the game, because it just does not work. It's so stupid. It comes off as so cringy. As for the game that I was going to talk about with that commentary, the biggest example of it this year was Ghost Recon Wildlands. And I mean, I played Future Soldier, and it was okay. I played it for like a week. Me and my friends played it for a while. We played through the co-op campaign. We played a little bit of that Horde mode, and then it just fell off the radar. It just wasn't. It didn't keep very much. It didn't keep our attention for very long. The gameplay looked really, really cool, and I mean, I think that if you have a group and if you do a mission and if it somehow plays out like that, it really can be a lot of fun, and it will be a really, really cool action-y game, but it might be a little bit too serious and a little bit too tactical for me. I'm not really too much into, I have written down here, I'm not really too much into being like a tactical special forces grunt anymore, where I'm dropped into a sandbox and I can do like where I can do special forces things. It's just it's kind of dumb to me anymore. I'm more about not so much linear, but like more paced out like adventure games where I get to explore and find things. So the vehicle combat in that game looked really, really cool. Hanging out the window, shooting at the cars and trying to run them off the road while people are following you on motorcycles, and then the helicopter stuff. Like, honestly, like I said, if you've got a group and you know your roles and you like playing games like that, then I think that game will be a lot of fun for you. It just probably won't be my thing. Don't expect to see that on my channel when it comes out. South Park Fractured Butthole. Yeah, meh. I watched Stick of Truth. I tried playing it for a little bit, and I mean, I'm sure if I played it before I watched it, then I would be more interested. But it was a thing where it's like once I experienced it, and once I experienced all the writing and all the South Park in-jokes, I had no desire to go back and play it again myself once I actually got my hands on the game. So the Fractured Butthole looks like more of the same. It looks like more of the same, but just a little bit different. It looks like the natural evolution to Stick of Truth. They did the fantasy, now they're doing the superheroes. It's going to be another South Park turn-based RPG, which is cool. I mean, there's definitely an audience for those games, and I think that's pretty cool. More Division shit. I don't give a shit about the Division, guys. I'm sorry. I don't care. And again, I'm going to mention VR again. It might be because like I said, I have no money. So a lot of this VR stuff, it really isn't impressing me. It's not making an impression on me. Star Trek Bridge Cool was very cool, and it was very innovative, and I'm glad that they're making use of that idea, because it's a great idea. But, like, when are you ever going to be in a room where you have 4 Oculus Rifts or 4 HTC Vives, and you can be a bridge crew in the same room? When is that ever going to happen? Like, because fucking Oculus Rifts are fucking astronomically expensive. So when are you ever going to get enough of those where you can be in the same room and be a Star Trek bridge crew? Honestly, I think those are, like, as of right now, those are more for show than anything else. And that's why I'm just not really that interested. The highlight of Ubisoft press conference, however, was definitely For Honor. I was very, very impressed with that game when they showed it off at their last year's press conference. And I'm really, like as a sidebar, I'm really cool, like, it's really cool how, just how, like, enthusiastic Jason Vandenberg is about his game, because you can tell he just loves it, and I'm not sure if it's the same guy, but, like, his hair is sort of unmistakable. I was at, like, this weird, like, this program a while back for, at Johns Hopkins University, where we learned about game design and what it was like to be a game designer, and I'm pretty sure he was the presenter. And he was saying where he came from and how he was, like, you know, just making a small game, just making shit in his mom's basement or something like that. And now he's the creative director on his own AAA high-profile Ubisoft title. So that's very cool. Good for you, Jason. And your game looks awesome, dude. That, like, it looks very cool, very new, very unique. And the narrative premise is great. Sort of those 3 factions going to war with each other. And the melee combat looks very, very interesting. It looks like a very, very unique combat system, and I can't wait to give it a try. I hope it's very intuitive to use, and I hope it's a lot of fun. Watch Dogs 2 looks awesome. I just hope it looks awesome when it actually comes out. Because Watch Dogs 1 was the most grossly overhyped piece of shit game that I've ever seen in my entire life. That's not to say that it couldn't be fun, but it was just so overhyped that it was just, I had no interest in it when it came out. It looks like they're going all in with the whole nihilist hacker, like, thing. Like, the sort of, counter, like, the subculture of, like, hackers, that go against authority and stuff like that. And, I think that the whole premise and, especially the protagonist, it looks way more interesting than than fucking Aiden stupid fucking basic brooding white guy Pierce that they had in the last game. The last game that they showed off, which is the new IP, everybody thought it was going to be Beyond Good and Evil 2, but keep on dreaming, fuckers. It was actually Steep, which is an action sports game, and it looks pretty cool. It's the kind of, like, we've sort of been missing out on those action sports games for a while now, at least, like, mainstream ones made by AAA companies. And it looks like that kind of, like, that hole that's been in the AAA market for a while. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if it continues to show some promise. Alright, well that does it for my Bethesda, EA-ish, and Ubisoft press conference video. Stick around, I'll be uploading my Microsoft and Sony press briefing video very shortly. It probably will be up right after this one. I'll probably upload them in tandem. But, as always, I have been the Mighty Mander, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.